Hello Mayhem Makers, I'm Mindy with Quilting Mayhem. Welcome back to another summer sampler tutorial. We're at the last one, block 9, log cabin block. This always seems to be difficult for people, but it's really just going to keep going around. That's all a log cabin is. If you're doing a full log cabin, you're just going to keep adding strips around. So you're going to start with your center square, lay out all your fabric pieces in order of length, and we're just going to keep sewing around. So I'm just going to apologize now. This might be kind of a boring video because we're just going to keep sewing seams. But I did save it as the last one just because people struggle with it being wonky. As they go. So we're just going to show you some tips as we go. And hopefully in the end, we'll have a nice log cabin. The nice thing with the log cabin is there are all kinds of varieties. There are wonky log cabins, half log cabins, improv log cabins. There's tons. You can look on social media and the internet, and you'll see some where they put a block in the middle that's like a star block or a house or whatever design, and then do all the strips around it. Essentially anything with a square in the middle and strips around it is considered a log cabin. So it's just how it goes. All right, easy. You're going to get a lot of practice with your 1/4 inch straight seams here. Right sides together, 1/4 inch seam. Just make sure beginning and end match. We've been talking about it the entire time. This is where it's really important because that's how log cabins really can get out of control. Okay, and really the key is just keep measuring, making sure it's square as you go. So once you have 2 strips on, you can square it up. All right. And we're just using my good old Best Press Flatter and Water mixture. All right, so I think you got a bigger ruler, but as you go, you keep measuring. This ruler's not big enough, so make sure you have a bigger one, or bare minimum, lay it on your mat if you've got one nearby. And so this one is 5 inches square. So as you keep going, just keep measuring, and then you're going to keep adding. So here we are, we have a lovely little L shape. Then you're going to come over here. So the idea is that you're going to go around in kind of a spiral form. So this is the shortest piece I put on first, the next longer one, then this is the next one. So it technically would also fit up here, but it won't give you that spiral look. So we're just going to keep going around and around and around. And you can do your fabrics whatever color order you want. It's all personal choice. We're just going to keep going. I told you this was going to be kind of boring. You were warned. If anything, fast forward to the end. Because really, once you get the hang of it, there's nothing super exciting. So we're just going to now keep going. Right. So now we're going to the top. Add that piece, making sure we're matching the beginning and the end. So that your log cabin will stay square. So that's the most important piece. All right. All right, so once again, you have another square. It measures 6.5. We're good. All right, so the next one, we'll just keep going around. So we 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're coming over here. and moving on. It's a good thing this machine sews fast. Helps me get my blocks done super quick. And yes, I just keep starching as I go. It makes those seams nice, crisp, flat, manageable. Okay, keep going in our circular motion. So we're back up here now. Matching corners. But you should go look at other log cabins, because there's some really impressive ones out there, some really creative ideas, and I'm always for seeing different ways to do things. I mean, traditional is great, especially if you're beginning. If you're just starting out, this is a great one to get under your belt. But go find other ones, or try different techniques. Try improv where you're not using straight, even fabrics as you go. You know, that'll give you a whole different look to it. All right, as we keep going, this is now 8. Okay, getting there. And then we add. Okay, let's make sure. Short, long here. Don't lose track. So we're going to keep going around and around. You can lay all your pieces out in hopes to not get turned around as you sew. That might help you. You can press your seams one direction or the other. You don't have to press open. If you do, just make sure you're always pressing them all outward or all inward. Whatever direction you decide, stick with that. I don't recommend necessarily doing some inward, some outward. I'm all for consistency. All right, we're just going to keep adding. Only 2 more colors, I promise. And then we'll have one more tutorial on how to finish. Put it together. Which is also sad to think, because that means summer's almost over. And I feel like it goes way too fast. Every year. All right. Make sure it presses and behaves. Okay. Once again, measure. We're at 9.5 now. So just making sure, you know, we're keeping nice, even, straight. You don't want it to start being 9.5 on one side and 9 3/8 on the other. If that is happening, you will need to make sure you make adjustments. So let's say this side from here to here is maybe too short. Oops, did I grab the wrong piece? Let's see if you grab the right fabric. What you can do is shift your fabric. So instead of lining them up straight on across, you can actually shift a little bit. And so what would happen is you would potentially have this top one a little higher up, like by that 1/8 of an inch, to regain the length that you need. Hopefully that makes sense. Otherwise, if everything's measuring, just keep matching and you're fine. If your blocks are too wide, so if they're 9 5/8, then go ahead either, depending how you feel, either trim it up. Nobody's really going to notice that little bit has shrunk. Or go back and make your seams a little bit bigger. Potentially you've done too scant of a 1/4 inch. And that would be why your block's not quite as wide as it should be, right? So things to look for and make adjustments for. But if it's just a little bit skinny and maybe only on one side, yeah, just put that strip, tuck it up a little higher, and then make sure you follow the 1/4 inch on this strip so that the underneath would be a little bit less, and that's okay. Quilt police aren't going to come at you. That's just how you fix something that's not quite as wide as it should be. Press. This piece needs a little love. All right. So we just keep going. Almost there. Okay, matching our seams. So yes, you can make adjustments in your actual seam. If your blocks are coming out not wide enough, then you want to not quite do as thick a 1/4 inch. If everything measures just a little under where you should be, move your fabric over just a little bit and make it on the underside of the 3/4 mark, say on your ruler, versus like dead on the mark of the 3/4 on your ruler. That'll get you that scant seam that you need. Because scant, it's kind of like baking. It's like doing a pinch or a dash. There's no uniform measurement for scant. So you play with it till you get what you need. You play with how you place your fabric and where it goes on your foot and on your machine, until you get the seam that works for you, that gets you the success in your blocks. All right, look, we're almost there. All right, we're at 11. Okay, press that quite correctly. Fix that guy. I don't like when they flip underneath. All right, so we just did the blue, the short, the long. So we're going to come back over here, put our final color on. All right. Notice matching corners, very important. And then I match my corner at the end and straighten it all up. And then zoom, zoom. And notice I'm trimming these little guys as I go because they bug me. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll see I talk about trimming threads. I like clean looking blocks. I don't like all those stray threads hanging around. I feel like they're just destined to get caught on something and wreak havoc, and I don't need that. I cause enough of my mayhem in my sewing. I don't need to add to it. All right. We're adding the final piece. All right. So, see, not super hard. Really, we're at 15 minutes, so really isn't bad to get an entire block done. And you can do a whole quilt, just log cabin. I mean, you'll see a lot of traditional ones they're just log cabin blocks, and you can play with color in how you do the blocks to make different looks in the quilt. So it can be a lot of fun. You can make the strips on one side skinnier than the strips on the other side. It gives you a different visual effect. So many options. All right, let's get this last one pressed. I mean, it's a good classic that's had so many variations created since it was started. Oh, and look at that guy. Yay! Log cabin measures at the 12.5 that we need. Yay! Hopefully you are successful. If you have any problems, reach out. Let me know. You can message through Facebook, Instagram, email, info@quiltingmayhem, all the good stuff. Just let me know if you're struggling. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy it. We're at the end. I'll get you the setting information next week, and summer will be sadly over. Well, almost. We've got a little more time, but I hope you've had fun. Keep on stitching.